You ever been to the red light district?
No. Tisk. Shoot.
All right, what's up, you guys? Escape Artist has finally come to a close with track number 12. How are you feeling making it all the way to track 12?
It's crazy, man. Yeah, it really is crazy. It's like surreal. It's like, damn, like we've been making content for like 12 weeks now. It's been a shitload of work. Content was like comparable to making the album itself work-wise.
Well, the wild thing with the content is that that's been a big hurdle to get over, but prior to that, there's has been in the pipeline for such a long period of time that now that we're getting to the end of it, it definitely feels surreal.
Yeah, like it's got me grinning from ear to ear, for real.
This track has me grinning from ear to ear too. I love this one.
Oh, me too. Yeah, this is one of my favorites, man, for sure. Like, as far as kind of everything goes, like this is one of my favorite beats I've ever made. This is one of my favorite songs that I've heard you come up with as well. So it's kind of like, I mean, we're ending with a bang.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like personally, like all the songs on here are like our kids, but this one's kind of like my favorite kid. Like I have a number of them, but this one I just feel like I did everything that I wanted to do with the track. There's a lot of storytelling loose ends that I had to tie up that I feel completely were tied up, and the bars are there, but it's also not like too in your face. It's the perfect amount of time, I feel like, doesn't drag on too long.
Right, you can throw it on at any time. Yeah, like if every song is a kid, then this is the kid that like went to Yale and like graduated with honors for sure.
Hell yeah, it's like it's very just hip hop centric too.
Yeah,
which I'm glad that it just kind of like the album started and finished with that, you know.
Yeah, true. With you rapping your ass off, dude, straight up.
So like production wise, when did you make this beat as compared to all the other beats that are in this album?
This one's one of the later ones. I definitely made it in our freaking Del Prado apartment. So yeah, I remember I was cooking up on Machine and I found this sample on TrackLib. Shouts out TrackLib. And it was like a great sample. Like as soon as I heard it, I was like, ooh, I gotta sample it. And then I kept listening to the sample. I was like, ooh, I can sample that. Ooh, I can sample that. And I actually found like 3 different parts to sample, which is why this beat has 3 parts.
Right.
So it was really fun cooking that up. Like, yeah, I was just super proud of it when I made it. I was like showing it to everybody. Yeah, definitely was very happy with this beat. And what's funny about it too is after I made this beat, I started hearing other people on the sample, like other like legit rappers. Like there's an artist who worked with Freddie Gibbs that I heard on it, and at least one other person, maybe like a Griselda person, I heard on it too. But they were only on the guitar part. Like, so the first sample that we chose. So It seems like nobody else really chopped up the next 2 parts. So I think that kind of gives us like a cool, unique edge, like, because we got all 3 together in one beat.
It's kind of funny how that works too. When people find interest in something or they get inspired, it's kind of almost like you got to hop on it and like create that thing and put it out there. Because like then it's out there in the zeitgeist and people are just like pulling from the ether. And you'll find that like if you have a cool idea and you just sit on it, then all of a sudden someone really popular does the same thing and you're like, oh, should have done it. So
right.
It's kind of funny how it worked out that way with the sample.
I know, right? It's like, it kind of shows you about all these sample sites too, because it's like, they want you to make you feel like you're finding super unique stuff, but they also want people to like their site, so they're probably giving everyone the same shit. Like,
that makes sense. It's cool that it's all one beat also that you sampled from, because like they're so distinct that you could almost say that they're from different songs, but all from one song, right?
Yeah, all from one. Yeah, because, yeah, it's true. They are all very different sounds. You got the guitar at the start, then you got, like, the singing voice in the middle, and then the piano at the end. Like, it was just a very versatile sample, man. Like, the original band killed it. I forget what they were called, like 7 Up or some shit like that.
Hey.
Shouts out to them.
Bubbly.
So, this is where you wrap up the story.
Correct.
Talk about the story a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So, Escape Artist kind of peaks with Fly, which is the previous song. And, there's a ride up until that point, and then once the ride is finished, then the story is pretty much told, you know, like Jordan as an artist escapes from the situation that he has put himself into by, you know, not acknowledging the pain that he has and by making all the wrong decisions, like instead of just facing against his fears and against his insecurities and all of those different things. The final track is like the epilogue, so I think that that's like really cool. I've never made one of those before. I've also just never made, you know, a narrative focused album before. So
True.
It was not necessarily intentional. I knew that I need to like tie up all of the loose ends and everything, but I kind of ended up writing a prologue in the song and then like a recap of the events of the album in the second verse. So like in the first verse it's like the prologue, and then when the beat changes, then it's like a recap of the album, and then in the like third verse, or when the beat changes again, then it's like the epilogue. So that's where I like tie everything up, but then also give a little bit more context to what Brian and Jordan's home life was like prior to the events of the album. So I wanted to get all that across, but it was actually unintentional having the beat switch at like those certain moments, and then going into the next part. So it's kind of funny how like the flow of the storytelling just naturally evolved with the way that like the beat was making me feel. Because like for example, the first part of the beat, or the first sample, it sounded very like something I would listen to and it would make me reminisce on old times. So that's kind of why I started with a prologue focused story. And then when switching over, I was like, okay, well, you know, if I'm already telling them a little bit of why, you know, Jordan and Brian are the way that they are, then how about I just, you know, really hammer home some of those things that maybe I wasn't able to hammer home in the individual songs. And yeah, so the natural flow of the song from the first verse to the second verse to the third verse just kind of happened from that place of being like, I feel like I'm reminiscing, and then just taking that story all the way till its natural conclusion, which is also what track 12 is the conclusion of the album. So
Yeah, I love the way that you did that. And that was kind of one of those things that maybe you didn't even realize you did for a while, right? Like, didn't you kind of realize that like later on? You were like, oh, I split this up into like prologue, epilogue.
yeah, well, that's what's funny about it, is because like it wasn't intentional to switch with the beat switch, but like I guess that's just like a testament to like the flow of writing, because if I started in one place and then I was writing to the next place, I think that like subconsciously I knew that the beat was changing, and the way that I interpret the sound of the beat changing also is kind of what made me feel like when the second verse starts, for example, why I should go into like recapping the album and everything. Like the first part is very like inspirational, but like I said, very reminiscent, and then the second one is, it sounds like the beat's starting to get a little chopped up, and that's where I'm like, okay, we're in the thick of it. So I'm like, if we're in the thick of it, then let's really get into like the meat and the potatoes of the storytelling. And then when it switches over, I think that it sounds very triumphant. I'm pretty sure there's like trumpets and stuff too, right?
There is, yeah.
Yeah, so you get trumpets which are like pretty traditionally, you know, like assimilated with triumph or victory.
Yeah.
So it kind of just like, I heard the way that the beat sounded, and then I just wrote to that, and that's how the flow of the storytelling in the track 12 called Escape Artist goes. But writing with that kind of like structure just organically made me switch from prologue to recap to epilogue when the beat switch happened. So it was unintentional, but then simultaneously like, it's kind of like a yes and no in a weird way, you know?
No, for sure, yeah, because I'm sure you were going in with that too. So yeah, it's just the timing worked out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was this one of your favorite ones to record?
I think so, just because it's one of my favorite songs just in general. Like, I just felt like everything that I wanted to do with the song was done. I feel like all of my takes were really cool. They felt really raw and really organic. I didn't feel like we had to like edit them all that much. And that's just a good place to be in, especially when you're like at the conclusion of something that's been taking so long to work on, like Escape Artist has taken to work on, is because you know, you want to leave everything out on the stage, you know, as it were. And so being able to wrap it up with what, you know, I have a lot of songs that are in my discography that I would put like kind of in like my pantheon of songs that I like are my favorites, but I feel like this one rises to the top. So it's a good send off to the album for sure.
You heard it here. God damn. Yeah, that's dope. I feel like it's kind of the same way with like my beats too. Like this one's definitely just one of my favorites. Just everything worked out. And it's definitely songs that we've done together. Yeah, this is easily my favorite, I think.
Right. Do you have any memories from working on this song that you'd like to share with the people?
Shoot. Well, I remember coming into this one, I think we were just both excited because A, it was the last song, and B, like we knew it was going to be the best.
Right.
And it's pretty straightforward. Like you're just rapping, the beat's there. I actually don't really have any memories too particular from recording it. I remember though the beat was a lot more raw, and I like the way we kind of spiced it up a little bit. We added like the bass in there, and we added like the door slamming and stuff like that. But yeah, honestly, I think in this point we were just like so in our groove that we just created it really fast, and there was like no like real hiccups or anything. How about you? Do you remember much?
I don't remember much from the like actual recording itself, other than I think that there was just a confidence that I had going into doing this song, knowing that it was all just rap, because like I know how to do that well. But there's other songs that I really kind of like genre blend a little bit, or I'm stepping out of my comfort zone with like maybe singing and things like that. So those were some of the sessions that were a little bit more like, all right, I got to be really focused, but then also kind of like loose at the same time, because you don't want to sound robotic just trying to hit notes and stuff. So this one I just kind of went in like I'm just gonna rap my ass off, which I feel like I did, and
Definitely.
and there's a bit of like a sentimentality to the beat, and then also like to the way that I rapped on the beat, and that's kind of like my favorite type of song to make. It kind of reminded me of like I'm Back from back in the days. There's like just certain tracks that have that sentimentality in them, like when I listen to them, that it makes you want to write something that's a little emotional. And so I feel like that is one of my favorite things to make, and then just straight up rapping is one of my favorite things to do. So combine those together and then going in the studio, and then also wrapping everything up, I think it was just kind of like a recipe for success.
Hell yeah. Wrapped it up with the rap, baby.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Damn. So Jordan escaped, huh?
Jordan escaped, yeah. And the thing with Jordan also is that like he escaped, and a lot of people will think, well, he escaped through his art. That's why the album's called Escape Artist or whatnot. And it's like, yes, but that also wasn't like his end-all be-all for the project. He just wanted to find happiness, and he didn't know what it was going to look like. And what it's going to look like is, raising a family with Evelyn, who's going to eventually be, his girlfriend and wife, all those things. They end up moving in together and whatnot. He's making music with his boys, but like, the reason why we're telling this story from this perspective, like I'm telling it for Jordan, is also because like he's not prioritizing music, because it's not like that's something that he loves to do, but that's like not the entirety of his character. So in the epilogue especially, we get to tie up like a lot of the things that make Jordan a fully fleshed out character, like his relationship with his parents, relationship with his friends, and just some of those other small things too that I kind of put into the album just as like storytelling devices that I didn't want to just like leave not tied up. Just like random stuff. Like I say in one of the songs that Brian might be like expecting a child or whatever, so that's why he was like apprehensive to go like just walk up to Omar's house. And so I like continue that story thread, I'm like, oh well, like my brother's baby mama had a baby, now I'm an unk, I'm gonna help her raise that baby like that baby my son. Like I just feel like there's a lot of small little, I wouldn't call it an Easter egg because it's like a part of the story, it's a self-contained story, but like there's a lot of like small things in this song that if you listen to it over and over, especially if you listen to the full album over and over, then you'll be like, oh okay, that actually went somewhere. You didn't just say that shit for no reason. So
hell yeah, nothing was said for no reason.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crazy, man. Damn. So now it's time for us to make our escape, I guess, as well. Follow Jordan's path.
I guess so. Do you have any like favorite moments from just like the entirety of this? Like our first time recording it, re-recording it, mixing, some of the content creation we've done. We're probably just happy to be done, honestly.
Yeah, definitely happy to be done. But yeah, it's super fun to look back and reminisce like where it all started, like in Brian's studio. Shouts out Brian from Brea.
I think that was my favorite part for sure.
Yeah, right. Like I still have all the MP3s or all the like files that we made over there, like with him mixing and yeah, you rapping, and then I was just there. And yeah, we definitely came a long way, man. It's crazy.
We'll have to listen to those again sometime just for the nostalgia.
Right. Yeah, we were like so young then and like so hopeful and shit. Yeah, it was funny. Yes. Not that we're not hopeful now, but just when you're starting to like get super serious like we were, because we like cashed out for that studio time, it just had like that magic with it, Well, and also, I mean, like you get pretty cooked for working on the same content for years. You get exactly.
And I think that
it was the first time, right?
Right. So I think that you kind of trick yourself that you're like, oh, I'm kind of like I'm cooked on this whole process in general, especially with like the marketing and stuff. I don't think either like Personify or myself are like experts at that, and so it can be a little bit taxing. But like I think what it really comes down to is just working on the same thing over and over again. You just get tired, and so we're super excited to move forward and make new stuff. But yeah, I think that's something that a lot of artists probably can relate with, is just being like very excited about the concept and the idea, and then going out and making that thing. And we're not touring or anything, but by the time they're done touring, they're probably like, I never want to sing that song again.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like for everyone who's like in love with the idea, the starting it is always the most fun thing, and then a lot of times people are like, no, I don't really fuck with this. But look at us, man, we made it all the damn way, dude.
We did.
Did it twice.
Yeah.
Made it all the damn way.
Did it twice. That's crazy. There's been a lot of different, like, we've been through eras like as people while creating this album, so there's just been a lot of like coming and going and a lot of growth and just a lot that's happened since we like initially conceived this album. So it's very weird to be finishing it.
Yeah, we're like completely different people than we were when we started.
Seriously though.
Damn, but we learned a shit ton too, so put that on the resume, man. Can't unlearn all that, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely super excited to make new stuff, just because like it really was like a trial by fire when it comes to just a lot of different aspects of making this album. So all that stuff sticks with you, It's not just like it just stays with the Escape Artist. You just take it into the next thing you're making, but then you're also not hindered by one, it being part of a like large piece of work, but then two, also that piece of work being like a narrative based one, so it's even more like contained.
Yeah, it's like whatever comes next, like we just have full creative control, and we have so much skill to just make it like to just blow everything we've ever done out of the water. So I'm super excited for that.
Thank God. And yeah, Escape Artist being track 12, I feel like it's just a great send off to an old era, and then just walking into like the new with like what I think both of us consider to be probably the best song on the album. So that's cool.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. What about you? You asked me like what some of my favorite memories were, or like highlights from this entire experience. How about you?
Man, it was really just going to Brea, honestly.
That was fun, dude.
Yeah, I just remember getting like a Sonic Energy drink and being cracked out and recording music, but just getting advice from like Brian's just a really cool dude and really like intelligent when it comes to like the art of like recording and all of that, but also from a very different time and listens to very different genres of music. So he was giving us insight on things and ways to record, which is always helpful because you want to get outside of your wheelhouse, but sometimes it's just a clash in like just generational difference. So we got like a lot of humor out of that in a healthy way. We love Brian. But
friend of the show.
Yeah, even just like going to the diner and we got like, I don't know if I got a chili cheeseburger or something, I forget what it was. Just things like that, going to and from to your uncle's house, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, we went to a few good restaurants out there and the uncle's house. So yeah, that was fun. Always making those like field trips and whatnot. Yeah, but hey, now that we're done with this, we got some more reasons to get out the house. So that's great. We can do some more stuff now.
Seriously, though. And then also the same thing, I think that probably a lot of people feel when making music just in general, but I would just say this also goes for Escape Artist, is when you're just trying to like make a song work or sound the way that you want it to, and then you either have like a eureka moment or you have, some sort of like input from like one of us to each other, and then it finally sounds like something that's like you'd want people to hear. That's another one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, no, true. It's like, yeah, you might like for me, like I would always think I come up with like the best idea I can, which I think I do in the beat, but then you have more ideas that we add to it, and yeah, it always makes it better, man, always.
And I've just like, the reason why I'm sick to death of this album is because I've listened to it like ad nauseum, because and it's not even like just because I'm being meticulous, because I genuinely was so excited about like, oh, this sounds so cool, I can't wait for people to hear it. So I'd run it back and back and back, and I would just be like playing Bloody Palace in my room, or like on my platinum quest for Devil May Cry, and I would just be like, just listen all the way through and then just start it over and just listen all the way through and just be doing other shit. So, times like that were my favorite, because that's the type of stuff that even before anybody else has heard what we've made, like you hear it and it does something for you. So you're like, maybe it'll do something for somebody else. You're just excited,
Right. Yeah. And the fact that we enjoy it, shows that it's not a complete piece of shit.
We don't want to
Hell
be.
yeah.
It used to be.
I know, right? Damn, yeah. It's crazy when you go back and just cringe at your old stuff. Happens, though. Happens. It's like,
Yeah,
damn.
it was never a piece of shit, but we just needed to grow as artists.
Exactly. And
engineers,
as men.
all that stuff.
So, do you want to share, like, maybe one good lesson that you learned? Since there's probably a lot of people who also, like, want to make their first album and stuff like that. Like, one good lesson that you learned along the way?
Just don't take it so seriously. You know, like there's pretty serious concept in the album, and when you're writing a narrative and you got to take it one after the other, whatnot. Like it might sound like I was very focused and really needed to like tell this story, but like the story just ended up kind of telling itself. You know, I just kind of like started writing and enjoying myself, and you know that was another good memory of you know this whole process when we were back living in Torrance, was because I was just in my room, and before Ben had heard any of this stuff or like knew that I was even like turning it into a story like the one that I was turning it into, I was aware of that and I was writing it, and it was really exciting. And so like just write like that. Like if you enjoy creating, I don't know why you'd be a creative if you didn't enjoy doing it. Just like focus on that aspect of it, and then if you keep on doing it with repetition, then you're going to end up being able to make something like Escape Artist or better. And so like if I'd give anybody advice, it'd probably be that.
Nice. Yeah, just find joy in it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reason why you started, right? I feel
Right.
like all of us get so like in our own head about those things, or it's not doing numbers or whatever. It's like, what do you really want in life? You know, like, do you want numbers, or do you just like want that feeling that you got when you first picked up a microphone, or you put fucking pantyhose over as like a filter? You know, like that type of shit is the stuff that like feeds you. So don't let your mind like take you away from that, because you're not gonna finish shit otherwise.
Right.
You're just not.
Yeah, focus on what you love to find your goal. Yeah, that's good advice, man. For sure.
Thank you. How about you?
Man, I feel like I could have a 10-minute fucking podcast saying every little piece of advice that
For
we
real?
picked up along the way.
That's when you just like when you just sell your seminar.
Yeah, right. Master class.
Yeah, like check out this master class real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm almost torn between two, because one of them is like, as long as you're like working on your goal, like nothing is a waste of time or resources, in my opinion, because like all those trips we took out to Brian's, like all that money we even spent at the studio sessions, like it didn't work out. And I feel like if we were super negative, I mean, it's not that it didn't work out, but anyways, we could be a type of person who said, "Oh, we didn't use those as our final songs, so it didn't work out. We wasted that money, blah blah blah." Like just being a big crybaby. So I mean, that wasn't a waste of time, because we learned a lot. Like without Brian, we would have never used RX-7. We also you learned a lot of good recording techniques from him.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot of good like kind of session managing techniques from him. So yeah, like. Even though we didn't use those songs in the final album, like those specific recordings, it was a huge like win for us, because we learned like so much while we were there.
Totally.
So yeah, that was awesome. And then I feel like the other thing is just like try to figure out how to like do it yourself, I guess, because a lot of times we'll rely on other people that will like for like certain services like mixing or something like that. But at the end of the day, like nobody's gonna care about your music as much as you. And if they do care about your music more than you, then that could be like maybe a little bit of a sketchy thing, like they want something out of you, blah blah blah. But I just feel like if you want to make the music that you like, then yeah, just make it yourself, or at least try to, and see how it goes. Because yeah, else, I mean, that's the only way it's really going to get that like TLC that it really needs. At least that's in my experience.
And also there's like there's a whole thing about engineers trying to get you a good product, and like no matter what, at the end of the day, it's like language is such a like fragile thing. It's really difficult to get across like what we feel, what we like hear in our heads, and the way that we want things to sound. So even if somebody's really good at what they're doing, like sometimes it might just be like if you were trying to explain like the intricate design of like a Van Gogh painting to someone who's like not into like that form of art, you know, or something like that. And it's like the other person might be into some other form of art and be really talented and be able to like kind of emulate what you're talking about. But at the end of the day, like if you're capable of doing it yourself, then like you don't have that weird kind of like inner intermediary step that can sometimes take you further away from like what your vision is.
Right, true. Yeah, and I feel like maybe slight amendment, let me take that back a step, is like, don't cut everybody out and be like, no, like I have to do this myself. But if you're not getting the results that you want, then don't be afraid to do it yourself, because then that's a way that you definitely can get the results that you want. So like this album, for example, like we didn't make it like by ourselves. We worked on it together.
Right.
You're the rapper, I'm the freaking producer / engineer. So yeah, obviously we relied on each other for that type of stuff. So,
and I'm sure that the balance between like seeking outside help and then just like having the courage to like start or like learn something on your own, that's a balance, and that balance is all subjected to the individual that's going through the process. So like you don't have to like compare yourself to other people and be like, well, he's doing this all by himself and he's doing this. Like that's the thing that keeps us from like doing anything at all. And I think on that same note, this is kind of me like responding to what you said previously. Is like if we were to, take going out to Brea and recording the whole album as a loss, like you really got to be mindful of your energy and the way you feel, because like if you took that as like an actual loss, like your emotional state changes. And then like if you know that it's like not like you're re-recording a single where it's like that's not going to take that much energy. Like if you're at a low state of energy and you're feeling defeated, then it's going to feel like you're trying to climb fucking Mount Olympus trying to re-record the thing. So it's like you really got to be mindful of that. And I guess that's it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So yeah, end of the day, make music, have fun. Don't let anyone get in your way. If they are getting in your way, then just fucking figure out a way around it. But just have fun. That's it.
Just have fun. And just to bring this whole thing home, this whole album, it's about running away from your problems and potential consequences for doing that. Like it might not be as drastic as it is for Jordan. I wanted to make it as drastic as possible so that we could tell this narrative and it would be very obvious that he's making the wrong choices. But so many times throughout our lives and throughout our days do we make really small micro wrong choices that end up leading you into a place that you don't want to be in. So like if you feel like that's something that you're doing, then hopefully you can learn from this album and course correct. And escape. It doesn't have to be like through your art, but like we're artists, we've been creatives for a long time, so I feel like that's what made it easy to like tell this story in that type of way, because that's the way that we got out of our our issues. And so whatever your thing is that you need to use in order to actualize yourself, do that.
Yep, watch out for that IG, that instant gratification. That's the theme of the album, honestly. That's the devil right there on that instant gratification. Yeah, man. Well put.
I guess that's it, huh?
I think that's it, man.
That's track 12.
Goddamn, track 12 in the books.
Not only is that Escape Artist as a song, as track 12, that's Escape Artist as an album, you guys. We really appreciate you taking this journey with us, taking this journey with Jordan and company. And anything else you'd like to say to the people?
No, thanks, y'all. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. We fucking did it.
I'll shake your hand one more time.
Goddamn. We fucking did it, y'all. Hell yeah.
We did it. We love you guys. Really appreciate you. And hope that you stay tuned for what's next.
Hell yeah. Hopefully this album goes wood.
All that.